The magic pot that multiplies everything, part 2. Amaka and her sister were living happily with the magic pot, but something crazy happened. One day, Amaka came home and saw her house on fire. She shouted for help, crying because she left her sister in the house. Neighbors started running from all angles trying to put out the fire. By the time the fire was out, Amaka saw the burnt body of her sister and the magic pot was gone. She cried and cried, not sure if it was her dead sister or the magic pot that she was crying for. She was so devastated that she thought so hard, who would have done this to her? But she was sure of one thing, the person came for the magic pot. What happened in Amaka's house was all because of the magic pot. The pot is now in the hands of her ex-husband, who claimed Amaka betrayed her. So she took revenge on her and stole the magic pot. His name is Amadi. Amadi is a very greedy man who did not know how to be faithful and left his wife for richer women. When he heard about the magic pot, he connived with some thieves and stole it. So when he got hold of it, he borrowed money and bought gold and put in the magic pot. As expected, the gold kept multiplying. Greedy Amadi was so happy that he jumped and jumped for joy. He was now very rich, so he started spending money and throwing parties. Amadi was not only after women, he was well known for gambling. One day, while he was drunk, he gambled away all his money and the magic pots to a crafty man named Ebuka. He woke up the next day and cried his eyes out when he realized he lost his magic pot. Ebuka was now in possession of the magic pot, but he didn't know the power of the pot. At first, he thought it was made of gold, so he took it to the gold market to check its worth. When he got to the gold market, they told him it wasn't gold and he got angry and threw the pot at his backyard. One day, he used it to dispose trash. The time he went to the backyard, he was surprised to see the pot overflowing with trash. He was so pissed off, thinking that his neighbors may have poured trash in his house, so he stormed out angrily to fight his neighbors. He made trouble and only got beaten black and blue. Then he came back home, threw trash in the pot again. This time, he sat there and saw the trash multiply in his very before. It was at this point that he realized the magic of the pot. He shouted and ran inside the house to bring money. He emptied the pot and added some cash inside. To his surprise, it multiplied the money. He ran around his house like a madman, shouting for joy. His neighbors who were disturbed came again and beat him up for making noise. But he was happy despite the beating because he was now a rich man. Knowing that spending money with the same serial number would land him in jail, he bought gold, different valuable things, putting it inside the magic pot, and they kept multiplying. He was so rich, he even called boys to beat up his neighbors, send them out of the compound, and bought the house from the landlord. Because he was now rich, he invited all his family members, including his married sisters, who came with their kids. They were so happy to see their rich brother and enjoyed everything they could. One day, while the adults were away, the kids got hold of the magic pot. Thinking it was an ordinary pot, they started playing with it outside. When some scrap pickers came around, kids thought it would be a nice idea to sell the pot and get some extra change to buy biscuits. The scrap pickers took the magic pot, giving them 200 naira and left. That day, when Ebuka came back, he couldn't find the pot. He questioned the kids and they proudly told him they sold the pot for 200 naira. Ebuka almost ran mad. "My magic pot, oh!" he shouted. He fell and fainted. The magic pot is now in the hands of the scrap picker, who was about to send the pot to be melted in the metal factory. He looked at the pot and saw that the pot looked so fine, so he took it home to use it as a mini toilet because he was too poor to own a toilet. He noticed that the pool was getting bigger and bigger and almost overflowing. Out of fear and disgust, he immediately threw away the pot and it rolled down into the bush with its contents on the floor. For 7 days and 7 nights, the magic pot stood in the forest without entering the hands of a new owner, until on the 8th day, it rained cat and dog, and the rain carried the pot into a faraway village, hidden in the forest away from civilization. The people in this village are primitive people and are still ignorant of the civilized world. It was Akpan, one of the village hunters, who saw the magic pot. He didn't know what the magic pot was. In fact, he has never seen anything like it before. So he took it home to figure it out. When he got home, he sat down for days thinking of what to do with the pot. and he thought of using it as a weapon for hunting. He went hunting the first day, and while catching some bushmeat, he used the metal pot and hit the animal and it fell on the floor. He was so happy, so when he went home, he told his fellow hunters about his newly found weapon. He shared the pot with them and they were happy. Soon the hunters used the pot without returning it, and it caused trouble among them. One day, the real owner of the pot came for it, and the other hunters refused to return it. This led to a fight, and they started hitting themselves with the pot and broke each other's head. The entire village gathered, and the village chief separated the fight and took the magic pot from them. Still not knowing the true magic of the pot, he took it to his house. One day, his wife saw the pot and wondered what the pot was used for. She looked at it and came up with an idea. She would use it to carry her child around. She thought she was a genius till she put her baby inside and saw that the pot produced more children identical to her child. Before she knew what was happening, her house was overflowing with babies. The villagers gathered and the chief inquired what happened, and the wife explained that the pot was cursed and kept producing children. At this point, the chief was amazed and announced that the pot must be sent by the gods, since it had the power to reproduce. From that day on, they started worshipping the pot. They built a mighty altar for it, worshipping it day and night. The villagers kept on worshipping the magic pot for years until one day, some group of evangelizers discovered the village. They came and tried to convert the people there, but it was difficult. One day, the head pastor noticed the magic pot they were worshipping. At first, he just thought them foolish, but then again, he thought to himself that the magic pot must be special or a giant piece of gold for them to worship it. So a day before they planned to go back to their town, he stole the pot and left early in the morning. When the villagers realized that their pot was gone, they cried and cried and cried, praying to their gods to forgive them for not protecting the magic pot as they should. Meanwhile, the pastor who took the pot was now in his hometown, trying to figure out the pot. He has been thinking of how to expand his church to the entire town and the neighboring villages too. He looked at the pot again, thinking of what to do with it. What will this pastor do with this pot? Will he find the power of the magic pot? Do you want to know? Find out in part 3. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next story. Bye.